In today's video, I'm going to address the reason why some women accept mediocrity from men. I have seen it many times over, and I was one of these women just a couple of years ago. And I used to complain, like many women, that it's the men who don't treat us right, that it's the men who don't take care of us like a man should, that it's the men who are not making efforts and who are no longer interested in providing and protecting, and the list goes on. Many women assume, like I did, that the problem lies with men. And while it's easier to put everything on men, and to be fair, there is some truth to that as well, I might surprise you by saying that the problem is not with man alone. After dealing with my own mediocre man and engaging in a long period of self-reflection after that mediocre relationship, I came to realize that the problem is also with us women. And this is my thesis for this video. Women are also responsible, and there are two reasons for that. If you look at the issue from a different angle, you will see that women also enable this type of behavior by accepting it. If women would actually say no to this behavior, and by no I mean they would be ready to walk away the minute they realize that things are bad, that they are not up to their standards and they won't change, men would be forced to raise their standards in order to be in a relationship. And relationships would become, again, a very treasured and sought after thing in life that only the best of men have access to. Throughout history, men always had to fight other men in order to have access to women so that they can have offspring and pass on their genes. It's not something that men are entitled to, and nature certainly did not make it that way, so that there's an element of selection and therefore evolution in the way men can have access to a relationship. It's only recently that you see women throwing themselves at men and being in relationships with complete losers who are incapable of offering anything of substance to these women. So why is that? Why is it that many women seem to accept more mediocrity from men nowadays? The thesis that I'm going to develop in this video is that the answer has to do with the woman's family of origin, and in particular with two things. Number one, their mother figure and her relationship standards, and number two, the amount of love a woman received from a father figure in her early and teenage years. Let's talk in more detail about the first one. Your mother figure standards heavily influence your own standards. And the reason for that is that your unconscious mind in its formative years got wired to accept what you were exposed to from a young age as the truth. So if your mother had low standards, meaning she herself accepted mediocrity in its various forms from a man, could be your father or a stepfather or any other man she was in a romantic relationship with, there is a high chance that if you remain unconscious of your conditioning and the way your unconscious mind is wired, you will accept mediocrity from man even though it makes you suffer, miserable, and happy, because it's what you believe is the truth about how things should be in a romantic relationship on an unconscious level. One of the important ways children learn about relationships is by watching their parents interact. If a little girl, or any child for that matter, sees her parents interact positively, she's more likely to behave that way and, more importantly, to expect that behavior from a man as an adult. If she sees the opposite growing up, she's likely to grow up believing that low standards are the norm and to accept mediocrity from men later on in life. The other reason why women accept mediocrity from men is because by the time they start looking for a romantic relationship with a man, they have accumulated so much love deficiency that they become in need of a man's love, like their life depends on it. Love deficiency is caused mainly by the lack of unconditional love received from a father or a father figure. Little girls are particularly dependent on a father's love for their self-esteem and confidence, and those things are particularly damaged by a lack of love from a father. When a woman did not receive enough unconditional love and affection from a father, she carries in her a love deficiency that she's always looking to fulfill with another man's love. And when you go out there with that level of neediness, you are almost doomed to attract mediocre men, because a healthy and balanced woman with high standards would walk away to the first sign of mediocrity, when a woman in need of a man's love does not walk away. And that's also why these type of women are so sought after by toxic men, aka narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths, because they put up with the toxicity for much longer. These kinds of men are actively looking and actually can smell your love deficiency through your words, the tone of your voice, your body language, and your overall energy. And that's when they know they found the perfect victim. It's not only that needy women don't walk away from bad relationships, it's also that if and when they encounter a high value man, they push him away with their neediness because high value men are turned off by the vibe of neediness. And it is a sad reality because those high value men could help heal that needy woman who is just a victim of her personal circumstances. But majority of high value men choose not to deal with that. And by the way, those personal circumstances that make a father not give enough unconditional love to his daughter does not always mean the father did not love his daughter enough. This love deficiency can come as a result of many things. For example, a physically absent father due to a divorce or a demanding career or being incarcerated or some other reason. Or it could be that the father was physically there but emotionally completely unavailable due to mental illness or other major problems. A professor of psychology and an expert in father-daughter relationships named Linda Nielsen explained in one of her interviews that an emotionally absent father can have a damaging effect on his daughter's love life. She said, and I quote her here, "The daughter who has a fulfilling relationship with her father is usually more trusting, more secure, and more satisfied in her romantic relationships than the daughter with a troubled or distant relationship with her dad." She also said that women who grew up with meaningful, comfortable, conversational relationships with their dads make better choices in who they date, sleep with, and marry. Sadly, the converse is also true. When women don't grow up affirmed and acknowledged by their fathers, they can suffer from low self-esteem and make bad choices in their lives. They can become needy, clingy, preoccupied with the relationship, and always looking for reassurance from their partner. This is also in line with attachment theory, which states that women who grew up with emotionally unavailable fathers often develop an anxious attachment style. In other words, women who had emotionally absent fathers live in a state of fear and distrust most of the time. So, to summarize what I said in this video, there are two main reasons why a woman accepts mediocrity from a man. Number one, she had a mother or a mother figure with low standards. Number two, she carries a love deficiency because she did not receive enough unconditional love from her father or her father figure. So, if you have a history of accepting mediocrity from men, reflect back on your parents. Look at their behavior towards each other and towards you. You may find many keys to understanding your current love life. Thanks for watching.